Hi everyone, this is Lisa Marie from Artistry by Lisa Marie. Welcome to the studio. Today I am drawing stars and wood planks. So first of all, I'm doing a kind of a horizon line there that I just did with the ruler. Well, a horizon line is where a line where the sky and the land meet. Here it's sort of where the background and the ground are gonna meet. So that's just what I did there. Now what I'm doing is today I'm playing with Ohuhu markers and Prismacolor pencils. So the Ohuhu markers I'm just using sort of as a backdrop or the underpainting, the first layer of color. I'm doing a darker top. I want a dark contrast for the stars. Otherwise, the stars won't really show very nicely if they're just on white paper. So I am just doing some dark color first, getting it nice and dark in the background. And don't worry about the knowing all the exact colors. I will put the exact colors in the video description so you don't have to guess. Just a couple layers of some nice dark purple, not black. I think black is kind of flat looking, so dark purple here. And I don't mind the up and down vertical texture. I like texture. I like patterns, so I'm okay with it. And then I'm just going to be drawing stars over the top anyway. That is a lot of marker, and I do have another piece of paper under that to absorb some of the bleed through that inevitably happens. Next, for the wooden planks, drawing just a couple more lines there. And now, wood, there are so many different textures of wood. If you ever look at wooden floors, it depends. Is it pine? Is it oak? Is it painted or finished? This is kind of a more of a rough wood look. So I'm doing just a bunch of lines for that back plank of wood, a dark, medium, and light brown, just to get a sense of texture. Remember, this is just the underpainting. Now for the next part, I forgot to draw the rest of that wood. For the next part, think of squiggly ovals. That's the best way I can think of at the moment to describe it. So they're just squiggly ovals, and then another one, slowly getting bigger and bigger. And I'm just sort of trying to make sure that I don't draw over everything else while I do that. And then I sort of fatten up those squiggly oval lines. They don't have to be neat. They're not supposed to be neat. I'm purposely making them very sloppy because I want texture. This is very messy, almost like barnwood, I think, is what I'm doing here. Lots of texture, lots of lines, not very smooth. So I'm fattening those squiggly ovals that I just drew. And then I did a dark brown, a medium brown to fatten up the lines, and now a lighter brown to fill in all the white space. And I will be doing colored pencils over these. But first and foremost, just want to get the underlayer of color down. And what I'm doing is I'm filling in all of this space so that way when I put the pencils on over, it'll be a very nice, rich color. And I don't have to worry about filling all the space with my pencils. I already have a fantastic underpainting. Here again, some squiggly ovals with the dark brown, medium brown, fattening those lines, drawing extra lines, making it even sloppier, which we could call the wood grain, and then filling in the space with the lightest brown. Okay, so I have the underpainting done, and now, I wanted to soften some of those vertical lines a little bit, so just took some dark blue pencil and, just went right over. Not very drastic changes with that, just I wanted to soften it a smidge before I did my, my stars. So now that that's done, I'm going to start doing some stars with colored pencils. I'm using here a yellow and a white. And the way you draw stars with pencils is actually very, very easy. This is a very basic way to do it. So you start with just a circle. And you press harder in the center of the circle and slowly lift your pencil up as you go to the edges of the circle. Try to make that center the thickest, most opaque, brightest part. You can add a little bit of white in there if you really want the center to be very bright. And then just soften it up and lift your pencil up as you go to the edges. Then you're going to do two X's, one big X and one small X. So first, the big X, so that means the lines that are going over the circle are going to be a bit longer. And then a small X. and you can extend the lines of the big X a little bit more, and that helps give it a really nice shine look. And it's a basic star. It's a basic way to draw a star. You don't have to do the X's. You can also just do those circle shapes around, because not all stars are the same. They're stars. Just look up in the night sky. Not all stars shine the same way. They're not all as bright. This is just a really fun background I wanted to do. I mean, it's a Christmas cat and a pretty little Santa hat, so I thought something a little magical and fun for the background would just sort of fit the mood. So I'm filling it, and stars are just 2 colors. If you want to do very basic, you can do a lot of different colors. So you can do on a dark background light pinks, light greens, light yellows, light blues. I mean, you could really make it a whole rainbow scheme, which would be super fun as well. But here I just chose, because it's a purple background, yellow, because yellow is the complementary color of purple. So I really thought they would just sort of pop a bit and be a nice basic color scheme. I'm actually going to do some purple stars as well. So purple and yellow, sort of for that background there. And you can see, again, I'm not doing X's on all of these stars. Some of them are just staying circles. So there's the purple. I do a very light purple and some even lighter purple in the very center to brighten those centers. But purple and yellow, basic complementary color scheme. Complementary colors are colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. And that means, since they're opposites, they're the most contrasting colors that you can get, which makes them sort of play very amazingly off of each other visually. Very striking color scheme. Just filling in some of the space. So now, you know, those vertical lines that I have from the dark purple marker, I mean, it just doesn't really matter because I've got this fantastic play of stars going around on the cats, and also because it doesn't matter because I like texture and I like patterns. So just gonna finish up some purple stars to contrast the yellow stars that I have for a fun background. Very magical, Christmassy. Now I'm going into the wood, and like I've already said, wood is a many varied thing in nature. Some is, you know, very rough, others is very smooth. This is very rough wood. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with the basic concept of a dark, medium, and light. So you have a dark brown, a medium brown, and a light brown. Did that with the markers, now I'm doing that with the pencils. And I'm just going over the markers with dark, medium, and light brown pencils, building up the texture, building up the colors, trying to keep in mind that image over top of it so I keep some sense of the shadow. And I'm not trying to be very, very smooth here. I'm going to do lots of layers of pencils, but I'm not going to try and make them, you know, smooth like glass. It's a rough barnwood feel. There can be rough pencil lines in it. There can be rough texture. Here's sort of a medium brown or orange. Orange and brown are the same thing on the color wheel, by the way. It's just orange with a little bit of black is brown. And now there's a lighter brown, which is more of a tan. Remember, I'm putting all the colors, the exact colors I'm using in the video description, so you can read them and you don't have to guess. But now you can really see how I'm layering a dark, medium, and now a light brown. And it's a little bit smoothing out that underlayer of marker, bringing even more texture and color variety and depth. There you can see a nice bit of roughness, which really doesn't matter because it's rough wood. And I am doing several layers. And so what I do when I'm doing, you know, markers and many layers of colored pencil is I'm drawing this, I printed this out on a really heavy card stock paper. And I'll put a link to it in the video description as well, if you want to. But with lots of markers and lots of layers of pencils, it's usually better to have a heavier paper that can kind of take the abuse and take all the layers of color. So I'm just going over and over again, layers of mostly the medium and lighter brown right now, just softening all those squiggly ovals that I did before. And then I take white pencil, so maybe this is a bit shinier, shinier barnwood, and I'm lightening up the lighter parts of the planks of wood. You're not losing those marker lines, though. If you've noticed, I mean, I'm softening them, I'm extending them, I'm adding texture to them, but they're not lost, they're not gone. All these layers of pencil over top are just embellishing and adding to it. And I'm doing sweeping motions with the pencil here, too. So before the stars were circles, this wood grain is just lines, many, many lines, sweeping lines of color, going in the directions of the grain of the wood. Medium, dark medium, and light browns, and then white pencil over top to soften it a bit, but again, not losing my texture. That's the medium brown right there, the orange. And I think you can really see it on the bottom plank there, on the bottom of the page. You can really see how the sweeping pencil lines over top are just embellishing the grain of the wood. It's really fun. And this is just one way to draw and color wood. There are so many options out there, and I'll try and do another one another time. But this is what we're doing today. Couple more layers of color, and that'll be it for today. Next time, I will finish this coloring page. That's it. Thank you for joining me in the studio. Remember to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the next video, and stay creative. Bye!